65 years I have ruled this empire. Generals and kings have knelt at my command. But a darkness comes. The blood tide rises. These are the closing days of the Third Era. And the final hours of my life. Close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
So, this is Oblivion. One second, let me sign in. This is Oblivion, a game that I've been playing for 200 plus hours, trying to beat, which is probably why I haven't been posting videos of like Bioshock 2 or God of War or some of the other ones, because I've been playing this a shitload. Only recently have I, beat this game and been able to get back on, Bioshock 2 and stuff like that. So, this is a Western RPG from Bethesda. This game was made in 2000 and, let me see, what was it? 2006. So this game was made in 2006. This isn't my first Western RPG, as you guys probably know, because the other one I showed you an analysis video of. Yeah, for some reason it's taking a while to sign in. The other video I showed you analysis video of, Kingdoms of Amular, was the first Western RPG I beat. So this is now the second one that I beat. This game, like it showed in the intro there, has you play a hero. Of your choosing. So in the beginning of the game, when you're trying to help, the Emperor there that I was talking about, the incoming evil, he's slain, but you get to choose what kind of race you want to be, because Elder Scrolls is this, has always been centered around, the race that you could be. So you could be a Khajiit, which is like a cat person. You could be a lizard, which is an Argonian, which is what I chose. You could be an orc, you could be an imperial, you could be a high elf, you could be a dark elf, you could be a red guard. Like there are a bunch of options, and they have their own, abilities and stats to them that are specific to their character. But let me see. Yeah, as you see, 214. Oh yeah, and whenever you are traveling in between areas or something is loading, you'll see a load screen like this, and they'll give you little, hints or guides to help along while it's loading what's about to happen. So the loading times, sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go really slow. That's probably one of my complaints about the game. But anyways, back to how you make the character. They also have a birth sign that you can create that bestows upon them other abilities as well. Stop doing that. Whenever you reach an area, it'll say right there, like it said, Anvil Main Gate. The red is your health, the blue is your magic, and then green is your stamina. So, and then there's your weapon, there's your magic you chose. This is your reticle that kind of shows you what's nearby. So you have some houses nearby, and that red mark right there is showing me where to go. There's also a blue mark that you can make when you go to the map when I show you, and you can tell yourself go here, and you could replace it, you can move it, you can do whatever you want with it. Then there's the green one being that you are close to your destination. And this right here is telling us that it's time for me to level up, because I've leveled up the appropriate skills. We're gonna start on the left here. Oh, and yeah, and there's my guy, my Argonian, with my shield and my headpiece, Umbra sword, and that. So, I'm an Argonian. I chose the birth sign of the warrior, so it grants me a bonus of 10 points to my strength and endurance. I chose the class of the scout. There's different birth signs, different classes and races. Now, the thing that's exclusive to this Elder Scroll is not the classes or the race, but the birth sign, because the birth sign isn't in the other ones. It's exclusive to this one. So I chose to be a scout, so prefer rolling countryside to city life. They are gifted with the ability to evade, guard, and protect themselves with great proficiency. That's my current level, that's my health, that's my magic, and that's my fatigue. The reason it's green is because I'm wearing something that is increasing my health beyond what it should be at this level. And there's my name, Sarek. So there's my strength, and the reason it's red is because I either have a status affliction, or there's something I'm wearing that's restricting the strength and willpower. So strength, it affects how much you could carry, how much fatigue you have, and how much damage you can do with melee weapons such as swords, axes. Governs the skills of blunt blade and hand-to-hand. Intelligence affects your total magicka and magic use. Governs the skills of alchemy, conjuration, and mysticism. Willpower affects how quickly you regenerate magic and how much fatigue you have. Governs the skill of destruction, alteration, and restoration. Destruction being, fire magic, ice magic, lightning, stuff like that. Alteration being you are summoning things, so you're summoning armor, you're summoning enemies to help you out. And restoration, that's kind of self-explanatory. Actually, no, alteration is something else. Conjuration is the one where you're calling stuff. I'm trying to remember mysticism, alteration. I forgot what those. I think mysticism is magic, like you're trying to increase somebody's affinity towards you, or you're trying to confuse somebody. And I forgot what alteration means. I don't remember. Agility affects your ability to maneuver and balance. Your total fatigue and damage done by bows. Governs the skill of security, sneak, and marksman. Speed determines how fast you move. Governs the skill of athletics, light armor, and acrobatics. Endurance affects how much fatigue you have, your health, and how much your health will increase when you sleep and raise levels. Governs the skills of block, armor, and heavy armor. Personality affects how much people like you, which leads to better information gathering. Governs the skills of speechcraft, mercantile, and illusion. And luck has an effect on everything you do, but governs no skill. Personally, for me, I think, again, it also has to do on what build you're trying to make. Like, if you're doing, like, a warrior class like I am, Strength is very important. Let me see, what else? Agility, speed, and endurance. Those are your most important ones. Now, if you're going more for a mage, intelligence, willpower, Probably agility would still work in your favor. Oops, damn it. And endurance and possibly personality. I really didn't find much reason to pour points into luck, because when you level up, you put points into one of these things here. Usually they'll give you enough points to put into 3 pieces. So they'll be like, oh, you could increase this plus, damn it, you can increase this plus 3 and this plus 2 and this plus 5. It all depends on how often you used the things inside of that. Will determine how much you could raise it per level. So armor, I just finished talking about that, and you'll see down here it'll tell you the level. So for me it's expert. So it's expert because when I hit 75, it became expert level. So now I can do certain things that I couldn't do before when it's a lower level. So the higher level your skills reach, the more stuff it allows you to do. So once upon a time, whenever I use repair hammers to repair your equipment, because your equipment can break, from overuse, I was only able to repair regular items. Now, reaching a certain level, now I can repair items that are enchanted, items that are Daedric, stuff like that. Athletics, my blade skill, I learned, new blade abilities. I mastered it, so when I reach 100, I mastered it. If I remember correctly, it starts as apprentice, and I think it hits. It starts at. I'm trying to remember. No, it starts at novice. Then it goes to apprentice. Then it goes to journeyman, then it goes to expert, and then it goes to master. So there's certain ones I've mastered, certain ones I didn't. Now notice here that these are all under major skills. When you level up major skills, it doesn't matter if you just level up specifically blade. If you level them up a certain amount of times, it'll fill this up and when it's full, then you can level up. If you level up minor skills only, which the chances of that happening are slim, to level those up only and not touch major. But if you level those up only, then you won't increase your actual level. You'll just be leveling up those skills. So in essence, you could learn to do pretty much everything in this game. It'll just take a long time to do, but in essence you can. So then there's blunt weapons, there's hand-to-hand combat, there's heavy armor, alteration. Oh, there you go, alteration tells you right there. Cast spells to breathe or walk on water, open lock, shield from physical and magical damage, and alter encumbrance. And it also tells you the governing attribute. Willpower governs over that. Conjuration, summon otherworldly creatures, magical weapons, armor, turn undead, destruction, illusion, cast spells to charm, conceal, create light, silence, paralyze, command, or affect morale or aggressiveness. Mysticism, absorb, reflect, dispel, stuff like that. Restorations, healing, marksman, dealing with bows, mercantile, get better deals in buying or selling goods. Security, picking locks. The sneak ability, you can basically move throughout an area without being seen. I've mastered it, so now you could actually sneak attack people for extra damage. So for me now it's 6 times my regular damage. So most cases it will kill them on impact, because now I've upgraded it to the point to where it ignores their armor, any armor they're wearing, and just ends them. And speechcraft will help you persuade people to like and trust you. Speechcraft is actually kind of important in this game to do main quests, side quests, guild quest, Daedric quest, miscellaneous quests, and town-specific quests. There's a huge amount of quests in this game, just, you know, from that little bit I just said. So, here, well, they're called factions, but same thing. So, Order of the Dragon, Champion of Cyrodiil, I got that because I beat the game. I did the last thing you need to do. Knights of the White Stallion, Knights Errant, that has something to do with the, you know, quest line I finished in one of the cities. Thieves Guild, I finished that, so I'm known as the Grey Fox. Arena, I'm Grand Champion. Mages Guild, Archmage. Fighters Guild, Master. Dark Brotherhood, Listener. Order of Virtuous Blood, I'm a brother. So, as you can see, there are a bunch of factions. Now, some of these factions are longer than others, some of them are shorter than others. Like I told you, this one is specific to the main quest. This one is the side quest. This one is the actual guild that's going to the arena. Obviously, in Thieves Guild, you're going to have to steal things. You're going to have to sell things to certain fencers in the Thieves Guild to get to the next contract of what to do. In a Mages Guild, you have to learn spells. You have to help retrieve, you know, magical items. In Fighters Guild, you have to basically kill things. I actually enjoyed Fighters Guild. You know, some of the quests you'll encounter in this game, some of them are boring, some of them are really interesting, and then some of them aren't either. They're just kind of tedious. Dark Brotherhood, personally to me, Dark Brotherhood is probably the best faction you could play in this game. Just because, I mean, you basically get to slaughter people and you get no penalty for it. And I'll get back to that later about a penalty. But you get to slaughter people and you receive contracts from different Brotherhood members, you know, to basically kill people in contracts. And when they give you the contract, just like in Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, you know, stuff like that, Thieves Guild, if you carry out specific things like go through this cave without being seen and retrieve this skull of power or something like that, they'll have quests like that, and you'll get an extra reward for completing it. Now, you could complete it regardless, it's just you won't get the extra reward, whether it's more money or you get a special item, this, that, and the other. So then now you have here, which is basically just a recollection of everything you've done in the game. So amount of days passed, the active quests left, the quests completed, skills increase, training sessions, it shows you novice, apprentice, journeyman, expert, and master, how much of a bounty I have on myself for stealing stuff, my fame, my infamy. You get fame and infamy. Infamy obviously from killing people, stealing shit, just being a bad person. Fame for saving people, doing great deeds, you know, stuff like that. Days jailed, you can go to jail in this game. Items stolen, items pickpocket, you can pickpocket people by going into, you know, a sneaking stance and, you know, going up behind them and taking stuff. How many assaults, how many murders, how many horses stolen. You could ride a horse. I didn't really ride horses in this game. The largest bounty I've ever had on myself. Amount of creatures killed, people killed, places found, blocks picked, locks broken, souls trapped, because you could actually gain souls with this little weapon I have here called the Umbra weapon. I'll get into that a little bit later. Ingredients eaten, potions made, Oblivion gates shut, because this game is based off of Oblivion, shutting the Oblivion gates, because all the Daedra, in other words, the demons, are coming out of those Oblivion gates all over Cyrodiil. You have to shut them. So those are the ones I shut. Horses owned, houses owned, stores invested in, books read, skill books read. When you read certain books, it'll increase certain skill points. Artifacts found, hours slept. That's the other thing too. If you want to level up, you have to make your character go to sleep, whether it's at an inn or a house you bought. Like it shows I bought houses, and the house prices vary. Some of them are 25,000, some of them are 5,000, some of them are 20,000. And the only thing that sucks about them is that it creates a quest when you do that, but the quest is only completed once you bought the furnishings for it. So the furniture, the fireplace, all that stuff, which costs an arm and a leg to do. So I don't really like how they did that. So that's why I have some quests left in my log. Days as a vampire. You could be turned into a vampire. You can contract diseases in this game or be poisoned and stuff like that. Now, for my character, since I chose an Argonian, they are immune to most diseases except being turned into a vampire. That you're not immune to. But you could spend days as a vampire and your complexion will change. Like I turned like a pale white when I was a vampire. You could bite people. Yes, the sun does start to kill you once you turn full vampire. Jokes told, diseases contracted, and Nirnroots is like this special kind of plant that goes along with the quest line that a guy makes basically tonics for you. So now I'm going to show you guys. So here's the weapons area, the arrow of extrication. That was a quest weapon. My Daedric arrows, it'll tell you the certain amount right there of how much you have of that. It'll say it right under the picture. Right here is how much it's worth. So you could see the gold brand is worth a shitload of money. This feather tells you how much it weighs. Again, gold brand weighs the most and costs the most. This sword right here tells you how much damage it does, and the health right there, the heart right there tells you, what's the condition. Right now, they're all in max condition. My gold brand, my mage master, and my umbra. So, and when you go to put your reticle on it, you'll see it'll say blade 1 hand or blade 2 hand or bow, this, that, and the other. And then for this, since it's not a regular weapon, which you always see like this little bubble thing next to it, when it's like a special kind of weapon, it has an element to it. It has fire damage, 22 points on strike. This is the charge amount. This is the many uses you could have. Now you could completely run out of, charge and uses, but all you have to do is receive a certain stone I'm going to show in a minute to replenish it. So you could always replenish it. But as you use this, use the weapon as with the charges, this goes down as well. And then the Mage Masher, it absorbs magic, 50 points on strike. Umbra, Soul Trap for 120 seconds on strike. So then now we get to Apparel, which Fortify hand to hand, 6 points. Speechcraft, 6 points. The Grey Cowl, Fortify Sneak, Feather, 200 points. Detect Life, 120 points. Detect Life basically means you can see them, their aura, which is usually like purple. Well, if they're alive, you could see their aura, from far away. Alright, the helm I'm wearing, it's a really cool helm. It's considered heavy armor and fortifies agility and endurance. The light raiment of valor, which I got from the arena quest line. I think I got that from the Fighters Guild, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and also says constant effect, so it's always on as long as I'm wearing the armor. So this does personality, it does athletics, fatigue, health. I have the mundane ring, which reflects spells 35% on self, resists magic 50%. I have Ring of the Grey, which sneak, security, marksman, detect light, resist poison, fortify acrobatics. I have Spellbreaker, which reflects 30% spell on self. Then you have potions that you get in the game for disease, for poison, for healing, for sorcery, for, you know, expiration. There's ones for fortifying your health, for fortifying your magic. There's ones for hurting enemies, you know, like decreasing their health, decreasing their magic, or deteriorating their armor. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's even weapons in this game that will allow you to, upon impact, to start breaking up their armor. There are weapons like that. There are weapons that, you know, do fire. There's weapons that do ice, that do lightning. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Then there's ingredients you could find in the game that do a number of things. Some effects known, some unknown. You know, bloodgrass, bone meal, bread loaf. You know, a lot of this stuff that you're gonna see, some of it is used for quest lines, some of it you can use to make something. A lot of it is used for quest lines, actually. Most times. There's a Nern root, Minotaur horn. A lot of this stuff you could either find in barrels or boxes or in caves or in Alien ruins, which are like these sacred ruins you could go into, or you can find them off of a creature you killed or a person. You know, it doesn't matter. That's the other cool thing too. Circling a little back around the quest. You can essentially complete the quests in many different ways. There are some quests that you could complete in like 5 different ways. Like let's say there's a quest for like, okay, I want you to kill this guy. You could decide to go into his house and murder him in the middle of the night, or you can decide to, if you know that he eats, you know, at a certain area, you could decide to put a poison apple and poison him, and he'll die from that. You can decide to convince somebody else to kill him. Like, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. There's books, which, you know, some of them cost money, some of them are really light. They don't cost anything. And there's keys. I have like millions of keys for different areas in the game. Luckily, the keys don't weigh anything, so you could carry 1,000,000 of them like I'm doing. Now, the soul gems, black soul gem, grand, there's greater, there's lesser, there's great, and they all basically help you to imbue weapons, like, you know, the magic weapons like I have, and recharge them. That's basically what they do. So it'll say A to recharge. There's also drop command, a hotkey, you know, and moving the reticle up and down. Anyways, you could use them, and some of them will say like petty. So there's only a little bit soul power in it, even though it's a grand gem. Then there's grand, there's common. You know, they all have different levels of power. So then there's miscellaneous. So there's lockpicks, there's repair hammers, the skeleton key, which is probably one of the best items you could possibly have in the game, which you get from completing a Daedric quest line. I'll get into that in a minute. Now you see at the bottom here, I could only carry 385, you know, in stuff, just anything. 385 is the max. If I hit 385 on the dot or higher, my character will be known as over encumbered, and he cannot move. You can't do anything. So you have to drop something or eat something. And then there's my defense, 43, and there's how much gold I have at the moment. And the blade just goes straight to weapons. The shield goes straight to apparel. That goes to potions, and then that goes to books and other miscellaneous stuff. And there's greater power, which you can get from these shrines that kind of look like Stonehenge. So you could, click A on them, access them, and then take in their power. They all do different things, like Cheater's Nip is for agility and luck, and Gates of Aetherius is for magic, resist magic, and fortify magic. Greater powers you can only use once a day, by the way, which is why, hence, they're called greater powers. You can only use them once a day. Then you have your actual spells. I only had a few spells because I really didn't focus on spells like that, since my guy was more of a warrior kind of person. So, but I have a few here. They're all from they're different kinds of alteration or destruction or restoration. Some of them will say you need a skill of, right there, you need a skill of 25 in alteration to use the minor latch crack. The spells are actually really interesting. I just didn't really give them a chance, because there are like tons and tons of spells. You could buy them from shops. You could, when you're in the Mages Guild, you could actually buy them from fellow members in different guilds. They'll have different spells, all kinds of spells. And it'll say my spell effectiveness is 95% right now. So the next one over is just spells. Next one over is, I guess, illusion spells specifically. Those are the same things. And then, okay, these are where my active effects are. So remember, these effects are from my armor that I'm wearing, or it could be from my classes, like all that stuff. So right there, it'll show you on the right, I have this because of my warrior bird sign, or my helm, bird sign again, helm, raiment, and Grey Prince's training, ring of the Grey, skeleton key, all that stuff. So now that one is because I'm an Argonian, so I'm immune to poison. That one's also from Argonian. I'm 75 resistant to disease. I can also breathe underwater because I'm an Argonian. I have detect life because of the ring, reflect spell because spellbreaker in the ring. Now, this is the map. Map is huge. So usually you'll those castle symbols are usually ruins you could go to, and there are tons of ruins that aren't even quest based. Personally, for me, in order to progress and beat this game, I recommend that you just try to worry about completing quests, because if you just go out and try to just discover all the places, there's way too many places to discover. You'll be playing this game for the rest of your life. So I recommend just sticking to the quest lines, being main quests and others. So when you see these will usually be farms. They'll usually be like little cottages, like small little places. When you see these usually mean gates or specific locations inside of a city. You always see a castle there. So this is a main city called Anvil. You'll see these, which are always staples, which are nearly always in front of the cities, which are either staples or they're inns. You'll see these cave ones. Then there'll be some of those which they look like two hammers to me, which sometimes those are caves as well. Then there'll be these, which are Oblivion gates, which are scattered all over the place once you do a certain amount of quest lines. Then you'll see these little things. how do you describe them? They're like these little, I'll say they look like foxes. So you'll see these little foxes of shrines dedicated to the Daedric princes. Now there's, I want to say 15 Daedric princes, and I highly recommend you do their quest lines, because doing their quest lines you get some of the best equipment in the game. Some of them being the skeleton key. With the skeleton key allows you to open any lock, from easy to very hard. It allows you to open any lock without it breaking. So the skeleton key is a must. Then there's weapons you'll get from them, like I got the shield spellbreaker. I got it from one of the Daedric princes, and love the shield ever since. Then you see these little things that look like eyes. Those are Iliad ruins. Again, it's a really big map. So then there's Skingrad there. There's Bravo down here. Oh, and when they're colored in, and then there's also camps. When they're colored in black, that means I've been to them. If they're colored in white, that means I've been near them, or there's a quest line ready for it. I just haven't gone inside. Then there's Leyawind. Then there's Shaden Hall. There's the main place, Imperial City. There's there's Skyrim outside the map. There's Bruma. There's Coral. So there's a bunch of places to go to. So, and obviously in the Imperial City is where you'll probably spend most of your money or steal most of the stuff, because that's where most of the valuables are in the Imperial City. So Imperial City has its own waterfront. It has Arcane University, which you'll go to continuously for the Mages Guild. It has Arboretum. It has the Temple District. It has the Palace, Talos District. It has Elven's Garden District. It has a Market District. The Market District obviously is where you're going to be buying and selling and stealing a lot. There's the prison. There's the arena. And then in places like Shaden Hall, you'll find, in places in Shaden Hall, that'll be the main area for the Dark Brotherhood. Now, the cool part about all these factions is they do take you to multiple different areas. So maybe, the first quest it'll be like, okay, I want you to do something in Shaden Hall. Then the next quest it'll be like, well, I want you to go to Bruma. And then the next quest will be like, well, I want you to go all the way down here to Leyawind. It varies, which kind of encourages you to go discover. So I always recommend go discover, the major cities, so you can get a feel for where everything is. Now hold on, before I get to that. And then you always see, the time of day. You'll see what day it is, always up there. And you'll see here an active quest. This is the quest that I'm doing now, which is a part of the DLC that I need to play. Then these are the current quests. And then these are all the completed quests. You always see, the little drawing, which I think is kind of cool. And then I'll say a name, and it'll have a large description of what's going on in that quest line, basically. Now, let me walk around a little bit. So I can walk around, I can jump, I can take out my weapon, put it away. Here's my shield. I can get in sneak mode like I am now. I can access my menu, I can actually play in third person if you prefer. I personally prefer to play in first person. It feels more personal that way, but you can play in third person. There's nothing wrong with that. See, there's the life detect going on right there. That's why he's all purple.
I wouldn't go in there unless you have a strong side. We have orders to leave everything just the way it was until the investigation into the chapel attack is finished.
So people will talk to you. When they come up to you, like he just came up to me without you saying anything, it's usually, you know, quest based. Like there's something going on. They'll actually command people to talk to you. But you could talk to anybody in any city, any town, and they'll kind of help you to point you in the right direction of a quest, or they'll even actually tell you about something going on that will lead you into a completely different quest. That's the other thing about this game. You have to be able to prioritize quests, because you can completely get lost from the main quest in games like this because there's so much to do. So you could talk to him, ask him for directions about the Gray Fox. You know, they all have something different to say. And they only had a handful of voice actors for this one, so some of the voice acting is kind of hit or miss. You can persuade them in this horrible game of persuasion. I just prefer to bribe them until it hits 70, because there are certain things that if you ask them about it, they'll be like, oh, I don't trust you to talk about that, or we're not good enough friends to talk about that. And it's because their composition towards you is not high enough. But, you know, for the purposes of this, I'll just try to talk to him so you guys could see. Now, see, his facial expression is a little different depending on what you have your reticle on. Like, you see, if you tell him a joke, he's not going to like that. Now, because it goes from this small one to this medium one to this large one to this extra large one. So if I do this, that means I can't use that part again. So I do this. See, I don't really like using that. I prefer to just bribe them. But you ask them about it.
How anyone could have gotten and out of there without being seen by our patrols is beyond me. Maybe that prophet was right. Some kind of unholy doom visited upon us.
And then you could ask him further questions.
Today across the street from the chapel. I used to think he was crazy, but now he seems to be making some kind of sense. I hope that doesn't mean I'm going crazy now.
So now, see, the quest updated. So now there is a change in the quest, and you could actually go to it right here, and it'll tell you the change now. Now you've learned something new, so now the quest will take you somewhere else. In this game, you could also, this is actually one of the houses I bought. When you buy the houses, usually you have to buy the house from, you know, the count or the countess, basically the ruler of that city. You have to buy it from them. But they'll usually give you a key. You could go in there and you could sleep and, you know, do whatever you want to do. So you can also choose to wait in this game. There are certain quest lines that tell you could only complete this quest line from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. or you could only do this from midnight till 2. Like there, you know, are certain quest lines like that. So you could wait a full 24 hours if you wanted to. Only problem is it moves a little slow, and basically that's it. It moves a little slow, so it'll take a while for it to do what it's supposed to do. You could go underwater like I'm going. If I was an Argonian, that would actually be going down the longer I'm in, but because I'm Argonian, it doesn't matter. I can be under it however long I want. So now let me show you guys fast travel. Now when you fast travel, basically by going to something and clicking it, you want to travel forward strand, yes. When you fast travel, it'll auto save for you, and then it'll go to the load screen. Also keep in mind, when you fast travel, if you're trying to get to somebody, keep in mind when you fast travel, everybody has their own schedule. So people are around certain areas at certain times. So when you fast travel, time does elapse. It's not like you just fast travel magically and time is still the same. No, time still elapses regardless. So I'm basically just going to fast travel around a little bit, showing you guys a few areas before we conclude the video here. So here's one of the areas, and here's a bandit, well, two bandits trying to kill me. It's actually perfect that I'm getting attacked. Now this is actually good for anybody that want to be a warrior class, so they could see my shield is so upgraded. I know you're probably wondering what happened to his weapon. My shield is so upgraded that it has a chance to disable him temporarily when I block his attack. So now you could take whatever you want from him. Strong potion, lockpicks. You know, you could take some of his apparel for money if you want back to town. You could enter Fort Strand here. Oh yeah, if it's white when you're entering somewhere, that means you could enter it. If it's red, like in the city, if it's somebody's house and it's not yours, anytime there's a red reticle or something, that means you possibly have a chance of the soldiers from the different cities visiting you and be like, "Stop right there, lawbreaker," and then like they'll literally give you an option to either go to jail, serve your time, which you could actually break out of jail if you wanted to, because you could keep a lockpick. You could go to jail, serve your time. You could pay them the fine, or you could resist jail and just attack them. Only problem with that is you have to leave the city for a while before you can come back, and even then, if it's that high, they'll still probably come after you anyways. So now let me go to a farm, kind of show you guys the farm. But yeah, I mean, as you can see from this video so far, there's a shitload of stuff to talk about in this game. There are still things I haven't even mentioned in this game. I'm just trying to give you an overview for the most part. There is DLC to this game that I need to play. I just beat the main game, so you'll see the other DLC of this game is Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles. This is Oblivion. So here's example. See, it'll say needs a key. There are some doors that you can't even open, even with the skeleton key, because you need a key for it. So that happens sometimes. Now let's take you guys to a Daedric shrine. Daedric shrine, they'll have, you know, their worshippers there, you know, plus the shrine. You never actually get to see the Daedric princes in the flesh, at least not in this one. I think you get to see them in Skyrim, if I'm not mistaken. Some of them you get to see. I also do have Skyrim, I'm playing that, but you don't get to see them in the flesh in this one, but they do talk to you once you access their shrine. They won't talk to me now, you know, me showing you guys, because I already did, you know, their quest line, so they won't say anything to me. But I just want you guys to at least see one of their shrines. Excuse me. their shrines. This is the Shrine of Meridia. See, she won't talk to me now. Have a bunch of different shrines. Yeah. Yeah, the two moons, yeah. So there's that. There's what haven't I showed you guys? Oh yeah, and the ones that kind of look like mountains, those are usually some other areas around there. Let's see. I'll show you one of the Iliad ruins. It's one of the other enemies. A frost astronaut. And you can see their little health bar there too. You'll usually see it. And the music will always ramp up and play whenever there's enemies nearby. See, she just healed herself. Frost damage effect resisted because of my magic. Now I know what you're wondering, what happened to that astronaut that was behind her? Well, she had summoned one because she's a conjurer. So now she has her health potions and this frost astronaut and stuff like that. So this is an example of an Iliad ruin. It'll always kind of look like this from outside. Let me see. What else can I show you guys before I end this video? Let's see. By the way, you don't have to fast travel like I'm doing. I just fast travel just because some places are really far away and it would take me forever to get over there. Like, now I'm going to this camp, which I'm an uninvited guest. Because this hedge wizard, which is invisible, not really, he didn't want me here. Also, when you level up, since I'm 29, the enemies scale to your level. So when you level up, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, you know, you're a little better now, but so are they. So even the bandits, like you saw back there, they have high level shit because they're scaled to my level. Even this wizard, he has some high level stuff scaled to my level. There's the town in the distance. Well, not the town, the city. That's Apparel city in the distance. You'll see a lot of colorful land in this game. Unless you're at an Oblivion gate, then that's different. I can actually take you guys to one. Let me take you guys to an Oblivion gate. Even though you probably saw it in the intro, I'll take you to show you one. Oh, also keep in mind, repair hammers can break when you use them. Soul gems, they're a one-time use as well. But again, you know, in this game, it basically rewards you for the more you do stuff, the more it'll level up. Again, sometimes the loading is hit or miss. Like this one, I already completed it, which is why it's not, you know, glowing and gaping like it was before, but you still see little remnants of it near one of the cities. Just so you guys know, the Oblivion gates are cool. Like the first one you see is really cool, but then after a while, like you probably heard, they get kind of monotonous because it's the same thing over and over again. They all look the same. The only few differences is some are longer than others. Also, the other complaint about this game is all the caves look the same. All the alien ruins look the same. All the at least the cities look different. You know, that's at least a good thing. All the caves look the same. The enemies are pretty varied though. I will say that's a good thing. So you'll see like minotaurs. You'll see wildlife too, like ogres. You'll see astronauts. You'll see conjurers. You'll see battle mages. You'll see vampires. You'll see people of the other race, like orcs. You'll see Khajiit. You'll see some of your own race, Argonians. Also, sometimes when you do certain quest lines, they'll actually speak to you based off of your race. So if they don't really like Argonians, they're probably not going to like you. Keep in mind too, quests are failable. So it is possible to fail a quest. Whether somebody important to the quest dies, so now the quest is completed, but it's failed. So you don't get whatever, you know, special thing was lying in wait for you. Now you don't get that. You also see those too. Occasionally when you're patrolling the road at night, you'll see an Imperial watch on horses. And if they, 9 times out of 10, if a creature comes in to their city to attack, or they see one out on the road fighting you, they'll actually intervene and start, you know, killing the creature. They won't touch you, but they'll start killing the creature. Now, if you hit them, now they're gonna start trying to kill you. But yeah, pretty much that's pretty much Oblivion in a nutshell, really. It's a really good game, really good Western RPG. My only complaint with, you know, again, with Westerns is, as great as they are, you know, with the amount of content they give you, I feel like that content sometimes is a little too much. Like, it detracts away from the main story, I feel, most times, because you know, the completionist in me makes me want to complete all the quests, but there are so many, to the point, yeah, see, there's a horse, and there's a guy doing this stuff. There's so many to the point to where sometimes it's just too much to do all of it. There's another alien room. But that's pretty much Oblivion. I don't think I really missed too much else to mention to you guys. I think I pretty much got it. So, anyways, thank you for watching. It's definitely been a long time coming making this video, but thank you for watching my Oblivion video. I definitely will make another analysis video on Oblivion, but instead of Oblivion, it'll be on the individual DLC, like one for Knights of the Nine, one for Shivering Isles, you know, stuff like that. Or maybe I'll make it together. It depends. I know Knights of the Nine is not that long, but Shivering Isles is kind of long, so maybe I may make separate ones for it. But anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you like this kind of stuff. Peace.